Welcome everybody to our industry update. I'm really excited to have Heidi Harris on. She's a top producing broker from Raleigh, North Carolina. I reached out to Heidi because probably close to a year ago, I was at a brokerage firm and they had Heidi come in and she did a whole presentation on her business, how she structures it, how she keeps in touch with clients, how she markets. And I was completely blown away with her systems and how well thought out and strategic and organized. And because of that, it also felt very simple. We can kind of overcomplicate, I think, our business sometimes. And she had it just so clearly laid out. And I remember thinking to myself, if I were a broker, I would just want to copy exactly what she's what she's doing. So just a real superstar. Heidi, we can't thank you enough for your time today. And I think everybody's kind of in that business planning mode and thinking about 2025. And the market looks a little different than it has the last handful of years. And everyone's kind of thinking about, okay, what's my game plan for this next year? And I know a top broker like yourself, you've been thinking about that for a long time, and I'm sure you've got some great things cooking already for this next year. And we appreciate you taking some time to share with us some of these brilliant ideas of yours.
Well, Jill, thank you so much. I am thrilled to be on here. And I will tell you something that I have cooking right now, since you were just talking about that, was I'm doing a vision board party. And I feel like everybody right now is like, well, I need to plan for next year. I don't really have time for it yet. So we're actually doing it January 8th. It's an in-person event for my sphere here in Raleigh. But I feel like after the holidays, people are like, oops, I totally forgot. Like, what do I want my 2025 to look like? So we're throwing that. And guys, that might be the cheapest party of all time, right? Because it's just old magazines, tape, scissors. That's it. And it's just getting people together. I also like it because it's January, it's before the spring market. Hopefully I can get in front of people, so I'm really excited. We've never done this before. I'm really looking forward to it. But anyway, I will go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Heidi Harris. I am a realtor in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm also a mother of two. One of them is sick from school and downstairs. So if you hear her coughing, that's Stella. I really love real estate. I love what it offers to my family. I love what it offers to my life. And I also love that I can be doing something like this while my kid is homesick, which a lot of other companies you wouldn't be able to do. So I'm very grateful to be with you all today. And I told Jill, she saw this thing that I did where I was talking about my system. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But we're going to really deep dive in listing houses and how that looks and what we do so that hopefully you all can grab some ideas. And I'm going to make sure that I get you my contact information. So if you guys have any questions, you can reach out. Does that sound good for everybody?
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. I'm going to share my screen if I may. Give me just 1 second here. Oh, sorry, I was trying to be really organized here and now it's not letting me do what I want to do. Okay, here we go. Okay, so what we're going to do today is, man, this is all going to be so beautiful. Hold on, here we go. Here we go. We're doing it. Here we go. Okay, today I have two things that I want to do. I want to save you time and I want to make you money. Does that sound good to everybody on this call? The ones that are not shaking your head, I'm looking at you, okay? I'm looking at you, Jody. Shake your head, okay? There we go. Okay. So we're going to save you time, make you money. The first thing that I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to be that realtor. And I want to say, I didn't intend to do this, but this is my shameless plug. Please go follow me on Instagram. It's at Home Sweet Heidi. My goal by the end of the year is to hit 10,000 followers. So every little follow would really mean a lot to me, and I'd love to stay in touch with you all. But additionally, I want you to look at something that I posted in my story, and I want to review what's going on with it live with you guys. So before we jump into what I have prepared, I'm going to share my phone with you. So that we can look at what I've got brewing over on the Instagram stories. Okay. Okay, never mind. It's not letting me. Darn it. Okay. But well, I made a backup plan just in case. So what I posted on Instagram was this. I made it in Canva. And it just says, just out of curiosity, if I could sell my house for blank, I would list my home this summer. Drop your answer below. I can't wait to hear from you. Pretty easy, right? Go ahead and take a screenshot of that. So I wanted to see how many responses I got. I think I posted it. It's 3:30 my time. So I probably posted it at like 1:30 my time. I've already had 6 people respond to this, and I booked 1 CMA off of it. So please steal this. Okay, great. Okay. Back to the show. Okay. So the way that I organize my thoughts, because as every realtor is, we have a million things going on in our minds every day, and then you throw in normal life and things get really complicated. So when I knew it was time for me to invest in having a TC or, hiring a designer to make that thing on Canva instead of me making it, how did I figure that out? And the truth is, it's really easy. So this is how I did it. I figured out my price per hour. And this is the math. And I invite all of you to get your calculators out right now. What I did is I ran the amount of money that I made in 2023 with this. So every year if you ask me January 1st of every year, what is your cost per hour? I guarantee you I will tell you. This matters to me so much because then I know where my impact is most influential. And I know what I should have somebody else do. It makes everything very easy. So I invite you all to go ahead and figure out your price per hour right now. Because what us real estate agents do is we want to be Captain Everything. We want to help everybody. We want to be inhuman. I'm going to stick with that one. However, we are actually humans, and we are not running our business like a business. We need to run our business like a doctor's office. You know how you go to a doctor's office and you go in, you meet with a receptionist. Hi, how are you? Great, fill out this paperwork. Cool. Then you go back, you get ignored by a nurse for a little while, and then they come in and, they tell you how much you weigh. Everybody gets depressed. And then after that, the doctor comes in. That's how I operate my business. I am very much in front of people, but I also know what high impact I'm making when I'm making it. And what that gives me is not just clarity, but also I know what my superpowers are. And that way I can use my superpowers so much better because I'm not spread so thin. So I invite all of you to figure that out. Okay, this is something else that we do. Jill, you might have seen this before. So I figure most real estate agents probably don't like their realtor when it gets to closing, right? Like they've seen things that they don't really like, and they're probably over the whole moving thing and they're at closing. So what I do is for every listing that I sell, so my listings that I sell to a buyer, we then put them on a drip campaign with postcards. Because what I want to do is I want to expand my sphere into areas I didn't have. And wouldn't it be great if somebody that possibly didn't really love their realtor, then I can grab their loyalty. So the first month, they get this beautiful welcome to your new home card. The second month, they get the one where it has, all the things that you need to change, like your driver's license, your credit card, stuff like that. And then the third month, they get a checklist of how to meet your neighbors. By that time, they kind of get who I am. Also, on the first one that I send you, the welcome to your new home, on the back of it, it's introducing who I am so that they're not like, who is this person and why is she in my mailbox? And then I put them on my standard postcard list. So each month I'm making sure that I'm reaching out to my entire sphere with postcards. Jimmy Mackin was just at a conference that I was at, and he said that if you're not in their mailbox in November, your sign won't be in their front yard in March. And I was like, yes, sir. I believe that with all my soul. So this is another way that we then add the people that bought our listings to our sphere. The amount of business that we've gotten, we started doing this maybe 2 years ago. It has been wild, the amount of business that we've gotten, but also people that are like, hey, my realtor never sent me, oh gosh, sorry, the balloons are going off. I need to figure out how to stop that. But they'll be like, hey, my realtor never got me, X, Y, or Z document. Can you help? Yes, absolutely. Like, I am thrilled to get in there and become their trusted real estate agent. So that's been a fun thing that we've done. Now, remember, I told you that we do postcards every month. This is just some of the postcards that we've done. As you can see, most of them have nothing to do with real estate. For me, this is a reminder. This is, hey, are you going to have a cheese board? Here, let me add some value here. Let me teach you how to do it beautifully. If you're moving into my community, here's a picture of my family. Here's what we dressed up for Halloween. Like, here's my favorite soup recipe or chili recipe. Like, we're always doing things that we're trying to be top of mind, because what we understand is most people know a lot of realtors, and simply all we're trying to do is be, when they think real estate, they think insert your name here. Okay. So we do that in many ways. I'm constantly texting people. I do unsolicited CMAs. I am rarely in my office. I believe that being in a office is the worst thing that a real estate agent can do. Maybe you completely disagree. But my goal is to be out and about in front of people. And I want to be that person, again, that when they think real estate, they think Heidi. For our sellers, we have a local artist here in Raleigh. And from what I understand, the people that have adopted this idea have found local artists in their area as well. But what we do is we have a custom painting done of their home, and we present this to them at closing. On the back of, I wish I had a copy of one right now. On the back of the frame is a little handwritten note, like, we loved working with you guys. We wish you all the best. Tons of memories were made here. Love, Heidi with Home Sweet Heidi Realty. And I don't want to make it a sticker where it's like contact info. That feels stale and salesy. I wanted it to be, it's like a tan background. It makes it very personal. And for some people, they look at this and they're like, wow, that's a pretty house. But for these sellers, like, to the right of that front door is where his wife told him that she had breast cancer. And he remembers walking her out of that front door to the doctor the last time before she passed away. And it's just like, so many huge moments happened in that home, and this man wept. And it's truly, this cost us $100. But the amount of people that will come to his house and the stories he will tell, because we saw him as a human, we didn't see him as a commission check, is exactly why we do what we do. And this has made such a huge impact. So feel free to look it up, local artist. But also, if you don't want to do that, there's tons of people on Etsy that can do it for about half the price. But personally, I like supporting local artists. Okay, next. Feel free to scan this QR code. So this is a really cool story about this house right here. So last July, I had this neighbor's house listed. The owners of this specific house went by and scanned the QR code. Do you see the QR code? It says scan me. It's right below my for sale sign. So that's the QR code that is this one right here. So they scanned it, they saw this marketing, and they really liked it, because what I'm doing is I'm creating a website for the house. It has all of the video, all of the pictures, all of the disclosures, the floor plans, anything you would need to know about the house on that QR code. The sellers of this house reached out to me and said, hey, we're not ready to sell yet, but we're thinking we might sell next summer. Would you be interested in coming to talk to me? Hell yeah. Okay. So I went out there, met with them. They weren't ready until September. We listed their house. Okay. So yes, I did get a listing off of this QR code, but hold on, that's not all. So this exact house, that exact QR code, a neighbor was walking by. She scanned this exact QR code that you guys just saw. She was like, oh my gosh, this is the house for me. She reaches out to me. I refer her to somebody on my team. We end up double ending the deal, over list price, cash, closing in 2 weeks. Okay. So this QR, I'm a believer in the QR codes. If you are like, okay, that sounds cool, but how the heck do you do it? I went to my photographer and I was like, hey, we already have this stuff. How do we figure out the website? And he was like, well, actually, I have the website. I just have never activated this because nobody asked me about it. And then I went to him later because I was like, hey, I want to tell people about what we're doing. And he was like, well, if they go to this website, you can see who hosts it. So if their photographer doesn't use that website, he can then use that website as the server and do this for you all. So please, if this is your thing, like go out and get your photographer to do it. I love the idea of somebody just trying to get information and it's getting right to them. And guys, I didn't even know. I was living my life while all of this was working out. These are the systems in place that work. And this does not cost me any extra money. And the photographer produces the QR code and sends it to me. All I have to do is print it out and put it in this little pouch on the sign. So it's really, really easy. It is effective. We started doing it, I don't know, like a year and a half ago, something like that. I bet we've probably gotten 7 deals off of it. So please, please, please do it. Of anything I'm showing you today, this is the thing that I'd say this is cheap, easy, execute. And I'm not watching the chats, Jill, but if somebody asks a question, would you mind just interrupting me?
Sure, we do have a few questions that have popped through. Here, let me
Great.
expand this real quick here. One person had asked about, can you say more about your unsolicited CMAs? What you mean
Yes.
by that?
Yep.
Let's start there.
Okay. Unsolicited CMAs are really just a way that I go through my client list and I will say, Kyle Parker, he bought his house in 2015. I'm going to send him how much his house is worth now. So truly, I'm putting something in the mail. I set it all up in Canva. If you want the link, send me a DM on Instagram and I'll get it for you. Like this, I am here to share everything. Okay. But he bought it in 2015. How much is it? How much, if he was going to sell it right now, how much would he sell it for? And so all I do, I think I change it. Yeah, it's 3 different places that I just changed, like Dear Kyle, and this is how much it's worth based on this square footage. And then I put it in the mail. And when I put it in the mail, I text him and his wife. And I say, hey guys, was just thinking about you. I haven't updated your values lately. Look in your inbox or look in your mailbox in a couple of days. You'll see something from me. Okay. So I'm letting them know that it's coming. Then they receive it. Most of the time they say thank you or they have some questions. Sometimes people just open it and they're like, oh, okay, cool. And they toss it. But for me, what else I'm doing is I subscribe to HomeBot. So if you don't have HomeBot, it's like, I think $50 a month. And it is a website that figures out how much homes are worth. And then they send it to your client once a month. So what I do is for Kyle, who I just sent the CMA to, I then go into HomeBot and I update it there too, so that he's not getting 2 different numbers. I want to make sure it's all cohesive. Does that make sense? Okay, great.
Somebody asks, when you are out and about, do you create conversations? Do you get contact information? What does that look like?
Yeah. So my goal is to add 5 people to my sphere every month, which really is not hard if that's what your goal is. Like it's really whatever you're focused on. Contact info really isn't hard because if somebody's like, oh my gosh, did you see that house down the street from me went for sale? And I always say yes. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. I normally don't know. Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. And I'm like, what's the name of that street again? Right. And then they tell me, and I'm like, yes. Oh, you know what? I want to get you some information on that. I know it's super like fun to know. What's your phone number? I'll text it to you. Or like, what's your email or whatever. So it's just an easy way. It is the way I approach things. I'm not saying I need to be your realtor, who do you know? Or like, send me your referrals or anything like that. I am there with a servant's heart, and I am just there to help my people. And that is also the vibe that I'm giving out. So I think that when you give out that vibe, it takes the ick away.
Absolutely. Somebody asked a question about AI.
Mhm.
Are you going to touch on that today? Are okay? They're just curious if you're writing your own content or are you utilizing AI?
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a little bit.
Okay, perfect. Great. Okay.
Are we caught up?
I think so.
Okay, with that AI question, I'm going to zoom through some things real quick because perhaps that's what we want to focus on a little bit more. Hello, where are we? Oh no, go this way. If you guys want to text me, you can just scan this and this will put my contact information in your phone. So I wanted you to be able to get a hold of me if you want that. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to X out of this and go into my high note, and I'm going to tell you all about that. So just give me 1 second while I do that. Okay. So this is high note. If you are not a high note client, holy moly, I suggest it. I love high note. I think it's $20 a month, maybe $25 a month. If you want, there is a referral code right here. Let me see if I can get it for you and put it in the chat. But basically, a copy link. Sorry, you guys are being so patient with me with all of my back and forth. Where did it go? Chat. Okay, so basically what High Note is it is a website. It's made for real estate agents. And I put all of my CMAs on here. I had a buyer consult this morning. I made one for my buyer. Anything that I'm doing that's real estate related, I like to put it all on here for 2 reasons. One, it keeps everything on a custom website for the client. It keeps us all organized. Somebody can't say I didn't share it with them, right? Because we can see that they are looking at it. And that is number 2 of why I love High Note so much. So the house I was telling you about with the QR code, this is the CMA that I did for that house. So we're going to go through this real quick. But also something that I noticed about this house was they kept on going back to the timeline because I got an email telling me that the sellers kept on going back to the timeline. So to me, it makes me think, they're worried about scheduling. So then I can contact them and I can already know what they're thinking because of how they're using High Note, right? So I'm going to show you what that timeline looks like. Take screenshots, steal all of it. Actually, I'm going to also put a copy of this High Note in the chat so that you guys can have a copy of this. Hold on 1 second, please. Okay, this is a copy of the High Note so that you guys can just click on it and then you have it on your actual computer. Okay, I'm going to walk through it and I'm going to screen share. But basically what it's saying is, hey, this is, made for you. This is what we're going to talk about in here. I like that this is long because what this is showing is I care. If I'm competing against a realtor that just shows up and takes notes and leaves, they're going to tell that from my processes, I am a lot more professional, right? Always differentiate yourself. So I'm going to talk about the pre-launch program. I'm going to talk about professional photography, video tours, custom websites, professionally printed postcards, the QR code. That's the QR code I just told you all about. Social media blasts and how it's hitting over 10,000 people. We're going to talk about how we're going to maximize your exposure. We're going to talk about prospecting. We're going to talk about contract to close coaching, how many realtors are on our team. We're going to talk about what the white glove service is and why that matters. We're going to talk about the unfair advantage that my sellers have from hiring me because I'm using AI. So whomever asked the question about AI, this one, we're going to want to tune in for this one. Okay. And then we're marketing the triangle area is what we call like the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area. So marketing the triangle at the highest level possible. Okay. So they go to this and then they click on this. This is the buyer experience. As you'll see, we like to set it up by saying, hey, these are our 3 top goals when we're working with a client. We want to sell your house for as much money as possible. And we want to sell it as quickly as possible because research shows that the faster you sell a house, the more money you're going to get for it. So that's why when I keep on talking about the marketing price, that's why it's so important. And I mentioned that, notice that's the first page and I'm already talking about the marketing price because I want their buy-in that is important. Okay. And then the other thing is we want them to have an amazing experience. So yes, they're happy, but wouldn't it be cool if they told their friends and family about us as well? And then what I'm doing here is I'm telling them about our team's recent wins. I'm doing this for 2 different reasons. 1, I want to show them that we're not losers. And then 2, I want to show them what we are seeing in the market. Okay. So this house we listed, we had 2 offers. We have the list price here. We have what the offers were. We have how much the home sold for, sold in 1 day. This one sold in 3 days. You know, we have all of that information right here. This one sold off market. So I am not going into the sellers being like doom and gloom, you know, listings aren't moving. I am getting them prepared for what our marketing can do compared to if another realtor walks in there and takes notes, right? Do you see how I'm setting myself up to really differentiate myself? Now, if I am in a house that is super buyer specific, and we all have represented those ones that were like, good gosh, who the heck is the buyer going to be? I have a little bit of a different conversation. I say these houses were all very vanilla. You know, they met a lot of buyers' needs. For yours, we are going to need to custom market your home. And let me tell you more about what to expect there, right? And so what I'm doing is I'm making sure their expectations are in line for a 35-day on market, 60-day on market, 90-day on market. But I still want them to see that this is what we're doing for more of a vanilla house, but for theirs, we're going to have a custom marketing plan. Okay. I don't really like this page. This is what some of our clients are saying about us. It's fine. I just don't think anybody ever reads it, but it's important. Okay, this is our distinctive marketing advantages. So you'll see on the left here, this is what an average agent does. Okay, they put it in the MLS and they put a yard sign out. I call this, of course, marketing. Well, of course, I'm going to do that. Of course. But here's all the other things that we're going to do that most realtors don't know how to do, right? And I list it all right there. Now, as you'll see, a lot of these things are already listed on the main part of the page. But we're going to dive through and tell them a little bit more about this here. This is where we're talking about our Instagram following and how we do things on Instagram. I'm going to go step by step on exactly how we launch our houses in, I think it's like 4 more pages. But this is a big step there. So we'll want to stay tuned for that. Reverse prospecting. This is kind of fun. What I do for this, and sellers really think this is cool because I'm already working on finding them a buyer and I'm not even hired yet. But what I do is I go to my favorite mortgage lenders. I say, hey, I've got a house. It's going to be listing for $650,000 in downtown Raleigh. How many buyers do you have that are looking for that right now? And then I add up that number and I put it right there. That's the lender list of buyers. Okay. After that, I go on the MLS and I find out who the realtors are that sell the most in that area. Because what I'm going to do, and I know everybody's rules are different. In North Carolina, our rules are set up that we cannot market a property until 24 hours before it's on the MLS. So I take advantage of that 24-hour rule. It is disgusting, guys. I pile on as much as I can there. Like 23 and 45 minutes until it launches. Like I'm reaching out to these realtors being like, hey guys, this is hitting tomorrow. I wanted you to be the first person to know because I know that you sell a lot in that area, right? So that's where I come up with the 23 realtors in the area. After that is in the MLS, I put in this house, $650,000 townhouse in a certain area. And I look to see how many buyers are currently searching for it. This one had 125 buyers. So the sellers really appreciate this extra level of work that you're doing, again, before you're even hired. This is where I'm talking about my fantastic team. This is where I'm flexing off just how great my photographer is. Y'all, are your photographers expensive? Mine is ridiculous. And every time I think like, I should really look for someone else, then he pulls off some gorgeous photography and I just can't help myself. But if you're a buyer and this is the picture you're looking at, that's not very attractive, but look at these, right? Actually, this is the painting I showed you. That's that house there. So photography is super important. This is where I'm letting the sellers know that I am paying for this out of my own money and that mine is, we normally need about 2 weeks in order to schedule the photography because our photographer is very busy. And by the time that we can get him out there, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Again, we're setting up expectations. Now this is supposed to be working. This is a drone. We do drones for everything that we possibly can. I live near an airport, so a lot of places we can't do a drone, but if you're in an area where you can, I think it is the easiest way to make your listing stand out in a cost-effective way. To us, when we don't do a drone and when we do a drone, the numbers of views are very, very different. So to me, I'm a believer in it. And now this is very Raleigh specific, so I'm going to cruise through this one really quick. But the number one issue that we have in Raleigh real estate is realtors measure the house themselves, and then there's a lawsuit because the square footage is wrong. And it is a very popular lawsuit. So here I'm just letting my clients know, hey, I'm hiring somebody who is licensed to come in, measure this for themselves. That way buyers can go ahead and see the floor plan before they even schedule the showing. And additionally, if there's a lawsuit, you don't know about it, I don't know about it, we can just live our lives. So people enjoy not having lawsuits is my takeaway from that. Okay, launch plan. This is the one, let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay. So this is a house that we had listed and sold. And I made this in Canva. Again, if you want it, let me know and I'm happy to send it to you. So every client gets a custom launch plan and you will see how we divvy everything up. But essentially what I'm going to take away from this the most is how we launch a house. So in Raleigh, most people list a house on a Thursday. I feel like across the nation, that's pretty popular, but I think that's worthy of talking about that. This could be also like different for each area. So Thursday is the big day. I don't like Thursday listings because I feel like then my listing is being compared to 5 others, 3 others, however many. So we started listing on a Tuesday. When we list on a Tuesday, we're normally the only match that comes through. When you're the only match that comes through, you're not competing with everybody else and you can get in front of your realtor. And then, so remember in Raleigh, we have that 24-hour rule. So what that means is on Monday, that's when I'm hitting the ground running. I'm putting out a teaser video. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see it. They're 30 seconds, 35 seconds long, giving you an idea of what the house looks like. It's a quick video. The idea is that they saw it, but they want to see more. Teaser video, okay? So we would launch that on a Monday. We would then go active in the MLS on Tuesday. And then you'll see on here how we do everything. So I have on Tuesday, I do the high res pictures. I also on Instagram collaborate with everybody on my team so that it's not just me doing it, it's everybody doing it. And all they have to do is click the button to say that they accept the collaboration. And it like goes crazy with views. So that has been really wonderful there. Some people really want sponsored ads. I think that sponsored ads are a tremendous waste of money if you're doing it right when the house lists. I want to go ahead and see, does the price make sense? Does the marketing look good? Like what, like really test it out with the market before I go and I push online ads. So you'll see here, actually, oh man, sponsored ad. Okay, that's supposed to be, I see a typo here. I'm so mad at myself. That's supposed to say November 14th through, or sorry, September 14th through September 18th. Because I want it to have about 2 weeks on the market before I go ahead and push those ads. That's worked out really well for us. Any questions on this before I move forward? No, cool. Looks like people are wanting. Okay. People are wanting a copy of this. Perfect. What I'll probably do is just send it out to Jill, and then Jill, you can launch it to them if you want. And then I talk about, hey, how do we come up with the price, right? Location, 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 sure. But also what's happening with the economy. This is a fun conversation to have with people, because it feels like this changes every day with the economy. But also this is where I'm setting a boundary. And I think that most people wouldn't understand I'm setting a boundary when I say it, which is lovely. But I'm talking about how marketing is my thing. Like I love it. I'm a nerd about it. And, let me do that. But also you see condition here. Condition is something I strongly rely on the sellers to make sure that the condition of their home is in good shape. Just like they're relying on me to make sure that the marketing of their home is in good shape. So it's really assigning like whose lane we're in. And then we talk about comps. And this is all about pricing the property. I'm looking at the time and I'm trying to hustle through all this. But you guys have all of this. This is really about how important it is to make sure that the price of a home is accurate. And when it's not accurate, how that can negatively affect the sellers. We have a net sheet there. These are tips of how to get top dollar for their house. Things that our photographer wants. White glove service option. Guys, this thing is great. So I came up with this because what was happening is I like to take a picture of my clients on closing day. They hold up a sign that I've got like 6 signs that they can hold up. Some people want the sign, some people don't want the sign. It's fine. But I wanted to make sure that I had in writing that it was okay for me to post that picture, because some people it's not okay, right? But then I started thinking, well, what else could I include on there? And so what I did is I came up with all these different things that we do. I have it listed separately if you guys want to see it. But it's basically 43 things behind the scenes that we do that the seller doesn't even know that we're doing. And it is completely free. And what I tell them is, and this is a true story, we had one person opt to not do it. And then halfway through the transaction, he decided, never mind, I want to go ahead and do it. So really what I'm doing is I'm adding value, is I'm telling them, hey, we have this whole plan about how we do things behind the scenes, so you don't even have to worry about it, right? Do you see the thought process of how detail oriented we're being, but also like adding so much value before we're even hired? I want when we walk away for them to be like, I'm not interviewing anybody else. This is my girl. Okay. And then team, all that stuff's there. Okay. What I'd love to do real quick is talk about AI. Is that cool with everybody? Okay. I'm going to say that says yes. Okay. So, there is a program that I did. I paid $6,000 to be a part of it. I'll get the link to Jill and she can send it to you guys if you want to do it. It is an investment though, I will tell you that. But in my area, I am not seeing any real estate agent talk about AI. I think that a lot of people, when they hear AI, it's scary because they're like, robots are going to take over the world. Like, what does that mean? So when I have the conversation about AI with my client, I have to say it in a certain way. So the program that I did, it lists like step by step exactly how to get AI certified for real estate. So you are working with ChatGPT, you are getting, all the different softwares, like, and I haven't paid for any of the premium subscriptions. I know that's crazy that I paid $6,000 to get AI certified for real estate, but I haven't paid for the premium subscription for ChatGPT. But basically it walks you through how to train ChatGPT to talk like you do. Because have you ever gone on there and you're like, please, write a letter and it says this, and then you're like, that is not my personality at all, right? So it's you training ChatGPT who you are. And then also it's how to use it in all of your different things. Okay, so this is what I do for AI. So I have already trained my ChatGPT. It knows me very well. We are really good friends. And I always go to it and I have it write my listing remarks. I never use it. I want to repeat that. I never use the listing remarks that ChatGPT says. Normally they're incorrect, and normally they are worded in a way that a buyer does not want to read it. It's because a computer is coming up with this, okay? They are hiring a real estate agent because we know what we're doing. So I go through, I look at it. It normally has points that maybe I would have forgotten. And that's why I make sure that I run it through ChatGPT. But then I'm like, okay, if I'm a buyer and I'm looking at this house, what things are going to catch my attention, right? So then I shift it. And so I use it more of like an inspiration, but it is not a copy and paste at all for that, okay? Where I use ChatGPT the most is on social media. So, I get a lot of business off of social media. Every year, about 25% of our closed clients come directly from social media. And I'm not saying it's my friend Kim's daughter. I'm saying these are strangers that found us off of hashtags. Okay. So I want to make sure that my social media is super strong because it is a pillar of my business. Now, if I go on social and I think this is what the masses want to hear, I can go ahead and type that up. But the truth is, I don't know everything. So I go to ChatGPT and I have it write up what Instagram remarks I should say. It takes into consideration how the first line is the only line that you see, and then you're going to want to hit more to read more. Okay. It will write it all up for you. Do I go in and change it? Most of the time? Yeah, because again, it's a robot. It's not perfect yet. I hope it never is, but maybe it is. And I then go through, I put my contact info on all of my Instagram posts. I don't want to go ahead and do the work on Instagram if my information's not there and people can't easily get a hold of me, right? So I put that on there. Also, it's going to tell me which hashtags are currently the most trending for real estate. So I use that. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to 10x my viewership on Instagram because I used AI to help me. The other thing that I loved, and this works for Facebook too, I'm a big Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Now, a lot of people are like, realtors don't do that. That's so weird. It's because realtors aren't doing it. Realtors are not focusing on LinkedIn. And let me tell you, my affluent male consumers or clients come off of LinkedIn. I am a huge LinkedIn fan, okay? But the place that ChatGPT has really helped me the most is with YouTube, because it can help me figure out which thumbnail to use, which keywords to use, what to name the video, what people are currently searching for. It will take all of the information off of Google and slam it all together. And it makes it so much easier and guys, so much more effective. So it's not taking up more time. It's actually reducing the time that I'm using, and it's making it more effective. Because once again, my goal is to 10x the viewers using AI. Okay. I think we have 14 more minutes left. I'm going to open it up for questions, unless if Jill, you want to do something else, let me know.
I have a question. So I know you're the marketing guru. Obviously, you've got, I mean, these unbelievable systems put together. I mean, did you physically create all this, or for a broker who says, I want to have just unbelievable branding, I want to have these systems, I want all this design, you're like, what resource or direction would you have them go?
That's a really great question, Jill. And I will be honest with you, I come from a background. This is my hobby. I love it. And my clients can tell I love it. And then because I'm good at it. And I love, like in my free time, I'm researching this stuff. I know I need better hobbies, but what I do is I then hire a TC because guys, I suck at paperwork. I suck at it. It is not my superpower. I love to negotiate and I love to market. Everything else that does not fit in my price per hour. So I go ahead and I send that out. Now, if somebody says, I want to do all these things, but that's not how my brain works. How do I do it? There are people that are social media experts that you can hire that can do this for you. Just make sure that they're speaking in your voice so it sounds like you're doing it. There's nothing like when you're following a brand and then all of a sudden the voice of the brand changes and you're like, what the heck is that? But yes, there are people that you can absolutely hire to do that. Or you can just follow my stuff and then steal it.
Well, I think everybody is loving this. I think Scott says this stuff is fire.
Aha! There you go, Scott.
Going back to your original slide with the postcards, I was curious as far as your kind of ongoing postcard campaign to a buyer who closed. What is your system for execution on that? Because you're triggering a series of postcards to go out starting at different times. So how are you doing that?
So, and I see Sierra just asked about the postcards too. So one of my friends is a designer. So she designs everything. The beginning of each year, we have a Google sheet. We say, this is what we want to do each month. And then the month before, during our team meeting, we talk about what we want the postcard to look like. I communicate it with her. She designs it. She gets it to me. Then my assistant takes it to a printer. This printer prints the postcards and mails them for us. Okay. But what she has is, oh shoot, what's it called on Google Sheets, maybe? I think it's Google Sheets. It's like an Excel sheet, but Google does it. Anyway, what she does is she puts in which listings we just sold. So those buyers that we want to contact, she has a certain line for those and which trigger they go out, 1, 2, or 3, right? First month, second month, third month. And the printer has already batch printed those postcards. So all that printer has to do is, okay, I just need to address, these 3 and get them out for those. And then they, after the 3 months, go into the normal pile of our sphere. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So it sounds more complicated than it really is. It's all just Google Sheets and a printer that understands what we're doing. Finding a printer is very hard. Yeah. It took us a little while, but we got there.
I mean, oh gosh, I mean, obviously this took an enormous amount of time for you to create and design and put together in your systems, but that's why you're so good now. You've got just have it being executed without having to think about it, and you can just go do your thing.
Exactly. I can go be more present with my people. Yeah. All right. So someone asked about how much it costs per month. So my designer, the most expensive month, she's $250. The cheapest month, she's like $150 because it doesn't take her too incredibly long to design it. And then for our postcards, it's normally in the $600 range. So, anywhere from $600 to $700. So it's about $800 per month. Now, I will tell you every time that I look at that expense and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think so. Then a lead comes in and it brings me right back in. And I'm like, okay, cool. We're going to do this for a little bit longer. So it's one of those things you just have to commit to it and stick to it. But for me, I don't buy online leads. Everything that I do is produced from my sphere. So to me, like this is my spend with that. And Wes says, how are you marketing on LinkedIn? So this is a really good question, Wes. So on Facebook, I am a lot more wordy. On Instagram, I'm a lot more, what I'm trying to do is, since you can only do one line and then you click more, the algorithm, if somebody clicks more, the person that posted it actually gets rewarded by being seen more, right? Because Instagram's like, oh, they like this content. So that first sentence is the most important. And then after that, I probably have a quarter of the words taken out from what I do on Facebook. But on LinkedIn, and Wes, maybe you can relate to this. My husband, when I get home from work, I could tell him, and hour of a story, but he really just wants the bullet points. And because LinkedIn is predominantly male, I'm just giving them the facts. So LinkedIn is very to the point, very straight facts, and it is a complete opposite of how I'm wording things on Facebook.
It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What other questions do you guys have?
And I'm going to send Jill the copy of that high note. I'm going to send her. I'm trying to remember all the things that I promised you guys. I'm going to send you guys the AI certification if you want to do that. I do have a link if you guys decide to do that, so it's not $6,000. I wish I had that link when I signed up. I'm going to send you the link if you want to subscribe to High Note. Anything else? This is my daughter who's homesick. She just walked.
Oh. Hi, sweet girl.
Oh, copy of unsolicited CMA. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is great. It's not plugged in right now. Nope, because I have to, I'm talking to these nice people and I can't plug that in right now. Okay, High Note. Okay, just to be clear, not today, Stella. Just to be clear, High Note is a website you set up for each individual client and allow them to follow through the process. Yes. So I have a master whatever seller experience, and then I just copy that, and then I change the address, I change the timelines, all of that in there. So I don't recreate it every time. And the launch plan. Yes, Aaron, I'll do that too. You guys are good. Canva presentation. Okay. Scott, no problem. Cool. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send all of this to Jill. If I didn't do something, you guys have my cell phone number. You're following me on Instagram, right? And then just reach out to me. I'm happy to help in any way. And if you guys ever have anybody moving to North Carolina, give me a holler.
Do you guys love this? Yeah, Heidi, you're a rock star. Thank you so much for sharing all you did today. I mean, truly, you're just so organized, so brilliant with marketing. Hopefully this was really inspirational for a lot of you. You're an inspiration to me and my business. And we just really, really appreciate you just being willing just to share it and give. And I'm sure the universe rewards you for that. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate you, Jill. Those are such kind words. And Stella, you want to say anything? No, she's good. Okay. Well, awesome. You guys have a great day. Go sell a house and let me know I can help in any way. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much again. Thanks everybody for joining. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Okay.